Okay, so I don't know what the lighting is going to be like, but we're going to go with it. Ignore the absolutely battered slow cooker. I do need a new one. However, I'm going to do 2 meals with 2 meats, using both meats, both meals. We're going to do a pulled gammon and roast chicken dinner. So first thing we're going to get this on the slow cooker overnight. Nice and easy to do that. I'm just going to apologise, but that's going to go on low. It's now close to 9 o'clock. It's just going to go on for about 18 hours, but that's fine. So to that, I'm not actually going to add much, but I am going to put some boiled water, just about cover it, which that's fine because it's going to slow cook anyway. But to that pan, I'm going to add 2 chicken stock pots. These are the Oxo ones. They work perfectly well. You could make your own stock if you wanted to. I ain't got no time for that. So there we go. That's there. That can now be left for 24 hours if you wished. But come back to that tomorrow. That's that job done. Next job is to get this on a salt bake overnight. Not a salt bake, a salt rub to brine it overnight. Now, I don't have any nice salt, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually break down some of my own. I've only got the cheap chemical table salt, so in my little pestle, I'm going to put some kosher sea salt. I need quite a lot of that, and I'm going to break that down. Without spilling it, I'll try not to spill it. So, of course, it's got much nicer flavour to it. Better than the chemical salt you buy now. Chemical salt's alright, you know, put it on chips, that's fine, but if you're gonna if you're gonna brine something and dry brine it, then the better quality salt, better flavour overall. You could actually probably spend most of this video watching me grind salt. Sorry. Right, so there we go. That'll do for now. So to that, I'm now going to add my potatoes. The best thing about a roast dinner, and particularly some, you know, if you're doing a big roast dinner like a New Year's Day or Christmas dinner, you can do loads of it the night before, do all your prep, could even do half the cooking in some cases. I know my Christmas dinner, all that's left by the day after really is to cook the roasties, mash and the meat. So I'm just going to give this a generous coating of salt. It's not really well grounded, but you'll do. Again, I'm just going to turn that over and give the back a nice rub with that salt. I'm going to firmly massage it. I mean, it's not as fine as I want it to be, but it'll do. We've done that, okay? And that can now go in the fridge for, well, 24 hours, about 18 for me. We'll return to this tomorrow. And obviously, one of the best things to do the night before, okay, or any roast dinner, or any meal for that matter, it's gotta be a good old Yorkshire pudding. Now I've got a Gordon Ramsay's recipe, there's no cheating this one, never. Can get my, there we go. So we're going for 125 grams of flour. A couple of grams always fine. Oh, that's way too much. I'm going to take some of that out. There we go, perfect. We're going to go for 3 eggs. Okay. 1. Oh. Yeah, went that one. 2. And this one. 3. Okay. I just slam it all in. People do add dry and then wet mix. While I'm here, bit of sugar, salt, bit of salt, and then on top of that we're going to have 150 mils. You have to excuse me noise background, I'm back to cooking some cat food. Going to add 150 mils. Okay, now I always do this the night before. Those gluten forming with flour, and they've always come out perfect. You don't have to make them that early, I suppose. But I just like to get the job done. I'm going to leave that jug because what I want to do is drain the mixture into there. So I'm going to give it a good whisk. Really doing a bad job of filming tonight, but here we go. For all those lumps to be gone. Oh. Nice and easy. It's good. So all I'm going to do now, get a little sieve. Oops, wait, I've just nearly dropped some on myself. There we go. So now just strain out any lumps. I'm just going to pass that through a sieve. I mean, you could put thyme in this. Some people like to put thyme. I have done it before. I just see there was a piece of it. I knew there was some eggs showing there. And that's it. That'll go in the fridge till ready to use tomorrow. At which point I'm going to tune out for the night, come back tomorrow, get my veg prepped in the morning, and cook some wonderful, wonderful food. See you tomorrow. Now, what roast dinner is, or what even any dinner really, isn't complete. That's alright. Ah, who cares? Right, the humble, or not humble, roast potato. Now this is my elevated version. We're going to do rosemary and garlic potatoes. So we'll cook these, pre-cook them, roast them with garlic, and then put a rosemary salt on top. So first thing, obviously, with any spuds, when we're doing potatoes, we're going to peel them. I'm using Mouse Pipers, okay. They do make good roasties, okay. Usually you get a good crisp outside, okay, followed by a lovely fluffy inside if you've done it correctly. So now there's two schools there, or two frames of mine, I suppose. You either like your potatoes big and chunky, okay, or dinky. I don't, you know, I kind of prefer mine a little bit dinky, so I'm just going to chop them where I see fit. I'm cooking for, I usually go for, I like to overestimate. I'd rather have too much, well, I'd rather have more than enough food than not enough food, and it doesn't go to waste. If there are leftovers, it does get used. So on this sense, what I'm doing, I'm going to create, this is for 3 adults and 2 children, so I'm going to go about 4 each for each of the adults, and then a couple for the children. Okay, now one of the key tips I can give you is use lard first of all. There is a movement towards using lard again. You know, everybody's gone onto this side of following Eddie Abu and other people, okay, about this kind of rubbish that they do put in oils, etc. And they're right, and lard, many years, or even beef tallow, if you really want to go expensive, okay, has been really, a bit like the MSG issue, it's been misinterpreted and it's kind of high cholesterol. But yeah, no, lard is good, particularly when you're making roasties. And you know, because I'm only making for a small family meal, these are going to be actually relatively easy to cook. But don't overcrowd your pan. If you overcrowd your pan, particularly when roasting, okay, what you're going to get is soggy. So we're going to cook these like my triple cooked chips. We're going to boil them until they're almost breaking apart. That's a bit of a difficult one. Until they're almost breaking apart. And then once they break apart, we're going to steam dry them so they'll beautifully steam dry before they go into a preheated pan full of lard. There you go. So we've got them. We're going to now wash these very quickly. And there we go, we have some very clean now roasters. Now some people do, okay, put chicken stock in this. Basically, because of the amount of chicken stock I'm using across another meal, I won't be doing it today, but yes, you could add Marmite, you could add chicken stock, and that helps flavour potatoes. But there we go, we've got some heavily salted. I'm going to put them on to boil. And here we go, these are bubbling away nice now. I put the glass lid on to bring it to a boil quicker. So we'll keep these till they just about start to break away. I'm just going to have a little tab now. Now this is a sharp knife, so I'm not, so yeah, it's still quite firm there. Couple of more minutes and those will be grand. Okay, so this dish is perfect on its own. I do mean that, it's absolutely delicious on its own. However, it's also a very good accompaniment to a roast dinner. Now, I would use fresh, couldn't get fresh, so I'm going to use a frozen. And we're going to make a cauliflower and broccoli cheese. Very simple, I'm just going to put this in there and we're going to shove it, for now, in the oven. Now, obviously it is water, it is going to be a bit wet, but I'm going to put that in an oven, 200 degrees, hopefully after 30 minutes, it should be roasted. Might not have the same impact. Might not have the same impact I want as I would with fresh, but it'll do the job. So that goes in the oven at 200 degrees C. Here we go. Here's my chicken, around 18 hours with a dry brine. Now, there's a bit of an issue here because I would usually not use butter, but we can't use butter on account of my son's quite strong dairy allergy. But we are going to flavour it, so the first thing I want to do in there, I'm going to room to shop. The first thing I want to do is get a whole bulb of garlic. Okay, bulb of garlic, I'm going to slice the top off and I'm going to jam it right in there. There's no room for an onion, but what there is room for is, have I got one somewhere? I've got one somewhere. Sorry, there we go. What it is for is a lemon juice that adds a lovely kind of acidity to the gravy. Okay, there's plenty of salt on that. There's been plenty of salt of it, so I don't really want to do any more. So all I'm going to do is sprinkle with pepper, okay. Now, I would usually use butter, like I say, okay, but we're not doing today. Could use olive oil, but I don't have olive oil. Can't get olive oil. So that's how it's going to go in, but usually I put a bit of olive oil on there. So actually what I'm going to do instead, just a little bit, and I've got some vegetable oil to the side. Okay, so I'm just going to put that. And what that does, that helps to crisp up the bird. Okay, that's going to go in. This is around 2 kilos, so it's about 1 hour 50 minutes. I do know by time, but generally if you're buying a chicken in this country, it does have cooking times on it, and generally those are very good. So that's going to go in an oven for 1 hour 50 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'll show you what we do next. Now I know that they're also ready. You can see that starch coming and come out. So they're probably just about where I need them. They might be a little bit over, but that's fine. That's fine. It will still be fantastic. If I can find, which I've got there. So, now, little tip for this one. I'm going to drain them, but I'm going to drain them into this pan. Because what I want to keep some of that stock, some of that water with the starch in, and I'm going to use that with the gravy. So there you go. Oops. They're steam drying. I'm going to leave them for a little bit until I need them later. Whilst they're steam drying, however, no, I'm getting confused. That's fine. So we'll leave them. We'll come back to them in a bit when we need to roast them. They'll take about 40 minutes to an hour at a high heat. But yeah, I'll come back to you when they're ready to be roasted. Another simple dish. Suitable with a lot of meals, including a roast dinner, and this is, can anybody guess? Well, it is parsnips and carrots, obviously, but we're going to do a simple maple and honey roasted carrot. My recipe will differ slightly to everybody else's. Again, and you know what, you probably can hear me say this, but purely because of the son's dairy allergy. I've lost my peeler. Where's my peeler? Bit of a distraction there, but yes, maple and roasted carrots and parsnips. It's all very easy. Now, obviously, I can't use butter. I would heavily recommend butter for this, but what I'm doing is going to be a suitable alternative. So I'm also going to trim the ends first off the carrots. That's nice and easy. Poor quality again. I mean, Asda. I don't know if everybody shops at Asda here. If you're in the UK, I think Walmart is the next best equivalent. In, you know, actually Walmart used to own Asda. However, yeah, these are the carrots, so we're gonna just trim them, and we're obviously gonna grate them very quickly, which is a nice, easy task. We've got a proper proper peeler. And my parents, for some reason, used to peel with a knife. In fact, carrots, they didn't used to peel. I know many people that don't do that. They just wash them, put them in as they are. I think they have that kind of bitterness to them if you do that. You can always check where a carrot hasn't been peeled. So there you go. Now, as I've said in previous videos, you know your carrot's a good one, okay, if it's been nibbled at. Because if they haven't been nibbled at, then that means even insects aren't interested, or birds. So what's that tell you about the quality? Saying that, these don't look that good quality, but they'll do. So because yeah, you can see a little bit of eating away there. Because these are cook in a different length of time, we can't really cook them together. So now that's done, I don't want to do this. I'm just gonna, and it's gonna look rubbish, but we're just gonna strip them like that. Maybe. That's fine. All very easy, this. All too easy, in fact. Too easy. And again, 200 degrees oven. okay, for about, oh, I don't know. Carrots take a little bit longer, so these will take maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, I'm going to ignore the fact that I've not peeled that one effectively, but I'll do. So, while I'm doing this, I tend to go for 4 different veggies on a roast dinner. What about you guys? What's your favourite veg? I tend to go for the same ones. I'd like some ideas. Give me some opinions. What do you like to see on dinner? I know I have tried leeks in the past, but I'm going to have leeks tomorrow, assuming I can get hold of them. So there are the carrots now. Again, yeah, no olive oil. We're at my local store. And not a lot of anything really. So what I'm going to do, I can't use butter as I've said, so I'm going to use a little bit of vegetable oil, not too much, okay. What I'm doing, this will help them cook, but I'm also going to add a little bit of water, and every reason I'm going to add a bit of water, this is about 3 or 4 tablespoons of that. I nearly sent my camera flying then. So yeah, what I'm the reason that I'm putting a bit of water in there, or will be putting a bit of water in there, is to stop the caramel. So you'll get, because this is high sugar, so we've got a maple dressing. It's more of a maple dressing than it is a actual maple syrup. Maple syrup's very expensive in the UK. So there's my maple. I've got some honey. I've got a little drizzle of honey. So yeah, the water helps avoiding the honey and the maple syrup burning against the pan. I'm just going to put a drop in there, only a couple of teaspoons, and then I'm going to get messy. Let's get messy. We're just going to get our hands in there. There you go. Make sure they're fully coated. Now these will go in for about 40 minutes. I'm going to turn them every 10 minutes or so. Well, no, not 10 minutes, but every 20 minutes or so I'm going to turn them until they are soft, but with a little bit of a crunch. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you can see that's obviously not cooked. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of water to the pan. Now what this is going to do, this is going to help me create a bit of a stock. Now some people just wait for the fats, that's fine. Parents have to do that. But whilst that's doing so, I'm going to, because I will add more later, definitely will be adding more later, but I am going to add 1 chicken stock pot to that. Oh, don't know what happened to that. There we go. That'll melt over time. And what that means is every 20 minutes, I'll turn this in the oven and baste it. So we will be back in around 1 hour 20 minutes, and that should be perfect. And again, we're now on to our parsnips, and I've lost a tray just as I press play or record. I've lost lovely chaos. Oh, nope. So there's my next roasting tin. So same with parsnips. Okay, these do not take a lot of time at all. Usually around 15 minutes, depending on the size of it. 15 minutes is usually be a magic number for me. So again, I'm just going to trim the edges. I say trim, I've just taken about half its life off there. Just trim the edges nice and neatly. I say neatly, it's cack-handed, but we get the idea. And and again, we're going to peel these just to get rid of the dirt, etc. I always find parsnips very difficult to peel. I almost feel like I'm patronising my viewers by telling them how to cook veg, how to cook a roast dinner, etc. But like I say, despite my moniker, I'm not a chef. This is all self-taught over years, and well, over the last 5 years mainly. I started to cook scratch. I was in that level where I thought I could cook, and by I thought I could cook, it's you know, I was able to fry meat and put a sauce from a jar with it. But yeah, as soon as our daughter was born and it was time to wean, we didn't, the irony is she still does, but we didn't want a child that was just living off beige and nuggets. Obviously she does have those, but we do, I'd like to think she eats well. She does have everything made from scratch, and she always has the choice of eating what we eat. And as she's got older, even though she's got sensory issues, particularly texture, her palate has widened, and fortunately she can eat quite a bit of what I now make. But yeah, so 5 years of self-taught, watching YouTube, reading books, and you know what, I'm still not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I make mistakes, but this is the purpose of a channel. It wasn't to show off, it was to, I want to say educate without patronising, and show people that, you know, it is worth time and effort in some cases. I mean, there are some meals like this that, you know, I spend several hours cooking in some cases, but sometimes I get a little bit of pride. I don't know if you're the same, but I get a lot of pride in watching a dish come to life. I also get a lot of pride in watching a dish fail, learning from it, and improving it. And it is always great. I find it cathartic to be in the kitchen, particularly on a day like this when most are out and I'm just left home alone to my devices so I can tune out the noise. And these are rather tough today. That's it. So just like the carrots, we are a couple of tablespoons of oil in there. Maybe 3. A little bit of water. Plenty of maple syrup. Now I don't add salt. Really, I didn't add salt to the carrots. I suppose I should have done, but what I'm going to do, I'll add a little bit of salt to this and go back and add salt to the carrots. So if you go, you didn't season your carrots, well I did, I just didn't do it on camera. So there you go, a little bit of salt. Okay, and again, let's get messy, let's get in there, give them all a thorough coating. Did I put water in there? Yeah, I think, yes I did, yes I did. So again, that goes in a 200 degrees oven until soft, but not overly soft. You know, it's got a little bit of give to it. And there we go with that when those are cooked. So there is our beautiful roasted, although it was frozen, so not particularly well roasted, but it's there. Cauliflower and broccoli. So I'm just going to move that about a bit, shuffle it up, take a couple of pieces out for the lad, because yeah, I don't have enough to make vegan cheese sauce for him today. So I'll take a little bit of broccoli, okay, and a little bit of cauliflower, sweet corn, and there we go. That's our beautiful roasted broccoli. And now what we're going to do, we're going to make a delicious cheese sauce to go with that. Okay, so a nice cheese sauce, very easy to make. I'm just going to put it on medium heat. Now I do all this by sight, okay? So we're looking for 1:1 butter to flour. I do tend to use a little bit more butter than I do flour though. So almost like 1.5 to 1. So there's my butter. I'm just going to melt that in the pan. Melting nicely. Just chop it up, have it on its way. So first thing, we're going to melt our butter. What we're essentially going to do, we're going to essentially make a bechamel sauce, then add literally a body load of cheese into it. That's it. Nice and simple. Bit of Dijon in there if I've got it. If I haven't got it, a bit of mustard. I'm sure I had some Dijon somewhere though. And a tiniest bit, because I don't like a lot of it, a tiniest bit of nutmeg. That's big. I have to go this way around. But the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to make sure we do this actually. I had forgotten. First thing, we're going to mandolin. I'm just going to get off to the side 1 or 2 bits of garlic. And it's gone quiet because I am, well, contemplating life choices at the moment. Listen, I'm not. So, issue is with this pan. A couple of bits in there, but never mind. I'm going to turn my heat up slightly. And then actually, while that's melting, I'm going to put some bit of garlic in there as well. So I'm slicing garlic, very rudimentary, quite bigger than I wanted. We're going to soften that up. I'm just going to cook that garlic out a little bit. And then what happens is when that softens, we can add our flour. Our. Okay. Soften that out, that's fine. So you can see that now. We're just going to cook that garlic out a little bit. We don't want to overcook it. Now, I'm not keen on it. A lot of people do a brown butter cheese sauce. And eventually what you're doing, you're cooking that butter till it becomes brown. Almost burnt. And people do a burnt butter sauce as well. I'm not keen on it. I'll wait till it just about turns. And then go from there. Okay, there we go. So the idea is we cook this butter through to just about start to brown. The garlic's softening. Oops, well it was softening so it escaped from the pan. And then we're going to add our flour soon. I'll come back in a few minutes. So there you go. You can see that brown starting to appear, which is fine. And I'm happy with that. So I do this by eye. I'm going to go about 3 tablespoons. That might be a bit over, but it's fine. And now we're going to mix that in. And there's garlic in here and everything. Now we do need to turn it down, because what's going to happen is if you have that at high heat, that flour and the garlic that's in it, it's not going to cook out, it's going to burn. And then you have a disgusting charred flavour. So I have whacked that down slightly. I'm going to just make sure that flour keeping moving, that we're not catching. It's a good pan to be fair, so it shouldn't be in danger of that. Okay, that's nice. Now the trick is, and I always say this, give it a sniff. Excuse your face. You can still smell a little bit of flour, but it's not too bad. Now what we can start doing, okay, is adding our milk slowly. Well, I say slowly, I'm going to whack a bunch of it in. That's it. We're going for a bit of a bechamel sauce first, and then we can add. Now in a bechamel sauce you can add, and you should add really, bay leaves and what else? Onions, red onions. Works very nice. Just a few slices. But this, we're just going for a basic roux. Okay, so flour, milk, butter, and then obviously that delicious addition of garlic, which will caramelise and cook in that cheese sauce. So we do need to work it at this point, okay? Just keep working it until we get a sauce kind of consistency. I want it a bit thin before I start adding my cheese, because my cheese is definitely going to thicken it up, particularly because I'm quite sacrilegious and I like to add a couple of cheese slices in there as well. Okay, but this does work, I promise you. So I'm going to keep stirring that, keep stirring it, keep stirring it. Adding more milk as we go along until we get that consistency. We're like, it's already beginning to hurt, but never mind. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So what's everybody having for tea tonight? Leave me a comment below, give me some ideas. What do you want to see me cook next? And please, 90% of you aren't subscribed to my channel yet you're still watching. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Almost another catastrophe then. So you can see that thickness is beginning to take form. So it's going into that smoothness. Now I know it still looks very lumpy and it will, so we're going to continue to work it. Promise you, take time on this and you'll have a delicious sauce. Now, like I say, I'm going for a little bit thinner than I actually want. Now, you are going to hear me heavy breathing. Sadly, I do have ischemia from an incident that happened roughly this time last year. I have hinted towards it, but that does mean on busy days, stressful days, or just tired days, that my heart struggles a little bit. But it's all good. I'm still cooking from scratch and I'm looking after myself. So there's no worry there, but that's what the heavy breathing is before people go, oh wow, you sound out of breath, are you alright? I'm also very nasally because of the meds. So there we go, that's about as thin as I want it. So now we're going to go in with our seasoning first. So we're going to add a touch of salt. As much as I don't like it, I do think it adds a little bit more depth. So we're going to go for a little bit of grated nutmeg. touch of black pepper. And if you don't do this already, I'm going to say why not. The next thing we want is a generous dollop. I won't even say teaspoon. A generous dollop of Dijon. And then what we're going to do, we're going to stir that together. Turn it up a little bit. And make sure that that's nice and done. So those are roasted garlic bechamel, bit of Dijon. Now the magic ingredient, cheese. Lots of cheese. So yes, I'm sorry, you're gonna hate me, but there we go. One, don't ask me why, I just think it adds to the texture of the sauce. And I find it quite nice. That's just me. Families never complain. I see the family preferred it this way for many, many months. And while that's there, I'm going to go in with some proper mature cheddar. Okay, you could do Red Leicester, you do whatever cheese you want. I think you need something quite strong on a cauliflower cheese because you need that cheese flavour. It's not cauliflower with sauce, it's cauliflower cheese. So that cheese, and broccoli should I say. So that cheese, you really want to come through. It has to be quite powerful. So that I am adding, how much am I adding? About 100 grams, probably a little bit more. And do you know what's the best thing about grating cheese? Or is that little bit at the end for me. So we're going to work this in. And then judge the thickness when it's all melted. That's a lovely, delightful sauce, and that's how we make a cheese sauce. That'd be a nice little video to do, won't it? It's a little cheese sauce video. Or a roasted garlic cheese sauce. Just let that simmer along on its own for a minute. Now there we go. Still a bit lump, still a couple of bits of cheese that need melting, but that's fine because what it's going to go on our cauliflower and broccoli, where it will then be roasted until a brown and crispy. Well, not crispy, until it starts to bubble and char. I like that, little bubbles of chard. Chard, is that the right word? Or little charred bubbles that you get, you know, when you cook a cheese sauce. So that's what I'm going for. Anyway, you're just going to move over slightly, push our cheese into view, whack that off, and there we go. Our delicious, absolutely beautiful, rich, I would say creamy, but it's mostly milk, and it's what's the word? Semi-skimmed at that, not full fat. Okay, but there you go, a delicious cheese sauce that we're going to roast cauliflower and broccoli in, which I'm making a kind of a butcher's job now in coating that. There you go, delicious. Don't it look tasty? Alright, you could eat that just like that, but we're not. We're going to bake it. See you in a bit. So this is a little bit bigger than I'd like to use, only because I've used the other day. So there you go, there's a block of lard, but I am going to take some of that off. And the reason I'm going to take some of that off is I'm going to use it elsewhere. So that'll do, that's how much I need. So I'm going to put that in an oven. It's piping hot, and I'm going to pour it on the potatoes. Come back in a while. So now you're going to ask me, why are potatoes back in a pan if they're being roasted? Well, there's a little trick here, and obviously nobody likes splashback of oil, particularly piping hot oil. So all we're going to do, we are literally, very hot. I mean, it's very hot, so this is where we have to be very careful. And we're going to pour the oil, and we'll see how hot it is. Like so. Possibly the most dangerous. Give it a quick shake up, okay? And then what we can do is now, with relative ease, I say with relative ease, pop them, spread them about. They're fully coated, and now we can roast these till they are crisp, golden and fluffy inside, and I'll be back for that point. See you in a bit. So here we go. We have got, after a while, okay, so mine will have killed by now, deliberately so, because I'm cooking them kind of early to be slightly reheated, so I'll probably reheat them in the... So we did run out of batch there, but oh well. So here we go, we've got the carrots, which I unfortunately let cool too quickly, and they're now sticking to the pan. But there we go, there's our roasted carrots in maple and honey. And in a second, here we've got these out of the pan. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Beautiful. There's our honey roasted maple, maple and honey roasted carrots, and joining them in the bowl are delicious, piping hot because they've just come out of the oven. Very hot. I'm touching my pan. Very stupid thing to do. Oh well. So there you go. A beautiful side. Again, something that can go with lots of dinners, not just roast, but obviously roasted are best, or roast dinners are the best, should I say, not just roasted. Come out of here, you annoying piece. Sorry, you listen to me chunner away. I am currently fighting with pans and parsnips, because despite water they still do stick. And there you go, a delicious side, perfect for any meal. We have honey and maple roasted carrots and parsnips, delicious. And there's our roast chicken, done, cooked perfectly, perfect temperature, nice and crispy skin, and that's going to be delicious and delightfully moist on the inside. What we're going to do now, let's transfer this to a plate with a bit of difficulty. Be stupid and grab a hot pan with your thumb and finger like me and regret it instantly, but oh well, these things happen. I was about to do it again then. Why would you grab a hot pan, you silly man? And with hopefully relatively easy, what we're going to do, we're going to just take that out. Okay, this is our delicious stock there. So we're going to take, don't know if you can see that. So what I'm doing now, we've got the stuff here. We're going to take the laminate, put that into there, and it is somewhere in here. Oh, and already messed up. It's broken apart, so we're just going to scoop it out. But we do have garlic in there somewhere. So that's going to make a delicious gravy in a minute. There you go. And what we're always going to do, and move that one to one side. Okay. And there we go. A delicious roast chicken. Perfect. You can have this with chips. It's delicious with chips and fresh tiger bread, by the way. Or you can have it as I am going to do on a roast dinner. So, long story short, I made a bit of a mess up on this. I unfortunately didn't serve salt cron. So I wasted a gammon joint, I had to go and buy another. So, same principle, this was been on for 6 hours. But we have also had it on the hob simmering away to just reduce that cooking time quicker. So what we're going to transfer that to a bowl. That stock I'm actually going to use for cabbage, but this is for my pulled gammon, and hopefully this is going to come out easy. Yeah, sort of. We'll go into the thing in there. So we've got that, that's delicious. That's going to soak up with some cabbage in a minute, and we're going to go to pulling our gammon. So I must admit, I missed an opportunity then to say pulling my meat. So here we go, I'm going to pull my meat, okay? And obviously it's a little bit tougher than it should be because, like a fool, it was, had to be rush cooked. But there we go, it's coming away now, that's just where it's caught in the pan, that's fine as well. And I'm going to keep pulling away, okay? There we go, it's coming out now. It's just, it is a little bit under in terms of slow cooks because of how I had to cook it. So because I've had it on a high heat, it hasn't had that time really to slow cook. But it's there, okay, we can see the parts. So there we go, really, I'm going to keep pulling this, okay? And then come back to you in a minute. And there you go. I mean, not much to look at right now, but it is fantastic. For me, it's going to go on a roast dinner and in a pie. So there is our delicious, easy, slightly underdone because I messed up, but our delicious, beautiful, pulled gammon. Okay, there you go. So, here we go. Almost 24 hours later, here's my Yorkshire pudding mix, okay? Now, I've done it without and I've done it with. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with these. Now, the thing is, if you use muffin tins, you have things, you come out with these big fat kind of cupcake looking Yorkshires. I think, don't hold me to this, I think they're called toppers. So it is always good investing in a couple, because they are relatively cheap and easy to get hold of, okay, although they do degrade over time quite quickly. But a couple of Yorkshire pudding tins. Now, the mix I did last night does do about, give or take, 8. And that's it. Okay, so we have our 8. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven and we're just going to let it sit. And we'll let it sit till we need it, because once we let it out, it is going to be absolutely piping hot. And we can put our Yorkshire mix in and it then cooks beautifully. You will see. Okay, it's a very, very quick, easy recipe. Okay, bit of whiteness in here because I did do something earlier. Okay, there's pestle and mortar. Now, I do have a herb grinder, but I thought if I show you the herb grinder, the video is going to be over in a matter of seconds. So I'm going to go for about 2 tablespoons of salt. That's kosher salt. That was the last of that. And to that, I'm going to add. Now I'm probably going to end up using a spice blender because I think I've probably been stupid here and I need to chop this first, and I probably do. We'll see what happens. Okay, so all we're doing, this is fiddly part with rosemary because the stalks are nasty. We don't want the stalks. We just want with rosemary. But yeah, rosemary salt, fantastic combination, and particularly on garlic, rosemary and garlic roast potatoes, absolutely delicious. But you can't have enough rosemary on this, so you really do need to be generous. I think that should be enough. So what we're going to have is going to be like this really rich green. So here comes a long process. And I've thought it's a bit too dry. So what I am going to do, I am going to use my my little, well, it's actually a coffee grinder, but it's great for things like this as well. So that didn't work. It does, you just need to obviously not do what I did and actually chop it finely first. It makes it a lot easier. But this is fine, we can work with this. Well, we can when the grinder wants to play nicely. And it's not wants to play nicely at the moment. But I'm doing it the wrong way. Right, I'm just going to pop it there. Right, you can't see that, so what I'm going to do this, put it in the grinder first. It's nice. And didn't work, but there we go. Some beautiful bits of green in there. And there's our delicious, easy to make, 2-minute video if that. Rosemary salt. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So, this is how we make a simple gravy with meat juices. Now what I've got here is a bit of stock that's left over from a chicken roast with a lemon and garlic. Now I'm going to add my juices, and to that my chicken wings. Okay, put that on low. Okay, and then that's it today. You could add the bottom of it, the skin off the bottom, I suppose. There's a well, actually I can get some of that. So I'm going to get the skin off the bottom of the chicken. Although to be fair, I need to keep some of that for my pie. You know what I mean? Right. We've been like to slow heat. Now, there's several ways of doing this. Personally, I start with a flour, make a bit of a roux. Do it by I add some liquid. Now in my case, I'm using some basic, well, just some water, salted water that's used to boil potatoes in. If I boil veg, I'll use that. Or, you know, worst comes to worst, I use the normal water. So like with a cheese sauce, I'm going to do this by eye. Just do it over here. Now I do want it quite thick, so I'm going to go for that one now. And it's a little bit more difficult to do, but we're going to have this on low. The reason going to low is it will catch quite quickly. I'm going to make sure as well that while I'm whisking this flour in, I'm getting all that delicious browning off the bottom of the pan. That is all flavour, and it's delicious. And this is the best thing about gravy, particularly if you're doing your own. You can add whatever you want. thyme, rosemary. In this case I've got a bit of lemon and roasted garlic that was roasted with the chicken. Now that's been kind of added properly. I'm going to add some sauce. I am going to whack up the heat now though, just so I can get a bit of a something going on here. So there's that. Got to be careful when you're doing this gravy because there's that many chunky things in the pan that without warning it can splash up and go out like that. Splash up and go everywhere. Now, anything really, this gravy, only difference is with what most people would do, and I'm not going to say it this time, but you do know why, those that watch my channel repeatedly. I'd usually, add a knob of butter to give it that smooth, silky finish, that shine and glossiness. But as you know by now, those that have watched, I can't actually use proper butter, anything that's dairy related. Not for me, but that's the way it is. And to be fair, I'd argue that most people wouldn't notice that much of a difference. So that's in there. I'm going to turn it up because we need it to start simmering, so we can have at least a half-hour simmer on that. And while that's coming up to boil, because you can never have enough stock, we're going to add 2 chicken stock pots. I'm not going to bother dissolving them because I am adding water as I'm going along, and that's it. We're going to keep working this gravy. Now we do have to be careful because there is flour in there and it will catch, so we're going to keep moving it. Now it doesn't look appetising at the moment, there's all the little bits, chicken, juices, everything in there, but once it's made I will strain this into a pan. And whack it up again because it's still not quite the temperature I want, and I'll come back in a second. So here we go. I've just had a massive quick repair that's been needed. My other elements had shorted, gathering, the grind behind the fan. So funny story, I've had to just quickly stop everything and change that, and now everything's back cooking. So this is the gravy. It's heating up nicely. Okay, we're working this, making sure that it doesn't catch. Now I'm just going to taste it. It needs a little bit more water to be fair. It's still quite thick, which is good. So what happens usually, I overwork this, make it too thin, like I've probably done now, and then end up having to put starch in. But that's fine, because we can do that, and that's easy. But we're just going to cook this, continue cooking this, and let that drain, because the longer you cook this, the more flavour you're going to get. So I'll come back in a minute when that's ready. So here are my roasties, they're looking deliciously golden. They need about another 10 minutes, so what I'm going to do is throw in some garlic, just to give it a bit of a, well, because I'm doing garlic and rosemary potatoes. But there you go, throw some garlic in, throw it in nice and salted. So these are going to go back in for about 15 minutes, job done. Okay, so as predicted, because of the salt content in potato starched water, obviously the salt from the salt brine on the chicken and then the stock, this had to be diluted further. So I'm going to do now, okay, because it is tasting fantastic, I'm just going to add a bit of starch water. So this is potato starch because I don't have any corn starch, but potato starch does the job. You can see that thickening up nicely now, and I'm just going to keep working this gravy. When it's to a desired thickness, you can see that thickness. That is getting really thick now, which is good. already made a mess. Trying to clean as I go along. So I'm going to have one final taste of that, make sure that there's no, well, that it's still not salty anyway, but it's got to have some salt. Yeah. Put a little bit of black pepper in, I think. No. Where is it? A little bit of white pepper, I think. There we go. That's our delicious chicken gravy. Now what we're going to do is just slide this over here without trying to wreck it. I am looking for something in specific. Ah, there we are. So all I'm going to do now, turn that down to low. Really low. I'm just going to leave that on a simmer now. What I am going to do is now strain this. So I've got a thick, kind of glossy, because obviously there's no butter, gravy. So strain that through. I'm just going to make sure that that's well and truly strained, okay? Which is why I've got it on low, to allow that gravy to seep through. Work it around a bit so it comes out. We want as much of this fruit residue as possible, just to give that flavour. Just need a bowl. Just transfer that too. Again, just working that through, getting as much of that flavour out as possible. The more flavour, the better. Perfect. That can go now. And what we have left is a delicious, thick chicken gravy. I'm just going to transfer that to a low heat till I need it. Be back on the other side. And there we have it, our delicious, bubbling, piping hot, hotter than Mount Doom cauliflower and broccoli cheese. Perfect for any roast dinner, or as a side to any other meal, or even on its own as a dish. So, we're back to our final piece and our final, what is it? I've lost words now. Our final piece of the puzzle, I think, for delicious Yorkshire puddings, okay? So I've got 2 tins, so I am just going to do that, okay? You won't see a lot of sizzle, but I promise you this is piping hot. And they will come out beautifully. So that's the first 4. That's going to go in now, straight into the oven. Get the other one out. This one's definitely hot because I can feel it. There's our second lot. And again, just add in. That one's sizzling. There you go. Delicious. They're going to go into an oven at 200 for around 20-25 minutes, depending on how golden brown and crispy you want them. See you soon. And ignore the pinging in the background, but there you go. Some delicious rosemary and garlic potatoes. However, instead of rosemary with potatoes, we've got a beautiful rosemary salt in here that we made earlier. So, again, another perfect side dish for any plate, especially roast dinner. And there you go, another beautiful sauce, side dish, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to make an absolute pig's ear of this, but here we go. Let's get some of that beautiful gravy in there. Make an absolute mess of it, which I always do. So before I actually do anything else, I'm going to wipe that down. And there you have it, a delicious, rich, thick chicken gravy made with the meat juices. And there you go, my delicious Yorkshire puddings. Admittedly, they're on the crispy side, which is fine, I don't mind them crispy. I needed 5 minutes less, plus I've had a new element, so I'm still judging the cooking. But there we go, some delicious, beautiful Yorkshire puddings. And there you go, the final result. The cabbage, which you didn't see, that just went straight into the juices from the slow cooked gammon. We have our garlic rosemary chicken, Yorkshire puddings, which are on the crispy side, but they're fine. Some delicious garlic and cheese, cauliflower and broccoli, and a delicious gravy made with the meat juices. Obviously this is it, and that's a long day. However, whatever's on your plate this evening, do eat what you enjoy what you eat, and of course, as per usual, if you're not subscribed, subscribe already, and leave a comment below what's on your plates. As usual, don't forget, wherever or whenever you are viewing this video, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Click the links to the right to see some more of my beautiful, delicious recipes. Give that notification bell a ring to be informed of future content. And last but not least, comment below what's on your plates.